just got onto Manchester Tower.
Right, it's
Oh my god.
runway 23 left, clear for takeoff.
Just get the down. Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ignoring the horrendous lines on the scenery, we're doing some TUI ops today. We're doing some real-world TUI ops, and we are starting in Ibiza. We're flying from Ibiza to Manchester today in Golf Foxtrot Delta Zulu Tango, the Boeing 737-800, which has the split scimitar winglets on it, which is really cool to see, which is what gets implied by this livery, which I've got for the aircraft from Flight Sim TO. And yeah, we're going to jump straight into the cockpit when it eventually stops freezing. Everything making a massive amount of noise. Seems like there's quite a lot going on in the plane at the moment, which is weird. Normally it should be cold and dark for when I load in. We're going to be using my usual little VATSIM checklist thingy and the procedure list as well today for the PMDG 737, which we got off Fly UK Aero. Looking at VATSPY, there's not really a lot going on, to be honest. We're down here, going from Ibiza up to Manchester. That's not updated yet, to be fair, so we'll update that, and it should tell us that there are... No, okay. It doesn't seem to think we exist. This is the route, literally straight north. We're going to go on the Elvo 1 Mike arrival, so we're going to get to Dane, turn right on CF23 right. I might go straight from Cushy to Dane, I'm not sure, because I don't want to mess about in case there are any ATC on later on in the flight. We are going to connect to VPilot, Tom 8 Charlie Delta, Boeing 737-800, and we're going to connect. We're going to file the flight plan. I'm going to pre-file it on here. And by on here, I mean on the SimBrief website. You just log into your VATSIM, and then you basically pre-file it on there, which is really good. So you don't have to worry about doing it in here as such. Okay, the flight plan is filed. We're using the Thrustmaster Captain X-Pack, the TCA controls again today. Actually, on that note, I need to make sure that I've changed the profile over, because last time we were flying the Airbus A320neo. Let's do... Oh, there we go. Smash in. That's just for the throttle detents and a few of the other controls that we have to get used to. So let's see where we can start this. I'm going to move that off there for now. We don't need that. So parking brake is set. We need to go to battery, which is closed. Standby power guard is closed. That's what's on, basically. The left fuel pump, left aft fuel pump anyway. And then the APU starts. Come on. There we go. Now let's have a look at the aircraft, shall we? And there she is, Golf Foxtrot Delta Zulu Tango, the TUI 737-800. They've got a number of these in their fleet. They also have the 737 MAX 8 now as well, which are still being delivered at the moment. They've got 787-8s and 787-9s also in their fleet. They do occasionally borrow some SmartLynx Airbus A320s as far as I know. But as you can see, down here at Ibiza, this is the Inibuilds Ibiza. It is gorgeous weather here at the moment, as you'd expect down in Ibiza. Nobody else on the ground from what I can see at this moment. That's the sound of the APU starting up, but look at these winglets, man. Look how cool these things are. These are the split scimitar winglets. I like how they've got the patch as well, where the old, it used to say Thompson.com or something over that title there. And they've patched over it. They've still got that other colour. I love the livery though. The TUI livery is absolutely gorgeous. First ops for them that I'm doing here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I certainly look forward to it. They always tend to go to very sunny countries. So the APU is on. APU gen. We will go badoop, and we will get everything into life there. Position lights. We're going to put that onto steady, which it already is. Logo light is required. That's going on. Cabin lights is required. Emergency exit lights. We'll pop that down. Passenger signs are going to come on. Come on. We'll put seatbelt signs on. Packs go to auto or high. We're going to put them on auto for now. IRS mode selectors go into the nav position. That's those up there. Next up is the FMC. Position in it. We need to pop that into there. Route. Oh, actually, we need to get the data from SimBrief, don't we? We need to go to the EFB. Request data from SimBrief. There we go. Flight plan request. There we go. Ibiza to Manchester. We need to set the fuel. SimBrief block fuel set. Awesome. Set payload. SimBrief payload set. Classic. Flight plan request. Let that do its thing. Smashing. While all of that's going on as well, we will start to get passengers on board from GSX. So we will request boarding. There's no jetways here. As you can see, we're out in the sticks. We'll get some stairs to come up to the aircraft though, because we're out on the ramp, and then we'll request boarding. Something quite creepy about that, isn't there? That's really scary. Not sure why I hadn't thought about that before. I didn't like that. And now that those stairs are attached, we can request some boarding from GSX.
Requested. Passengers bus is coming.
Okay, cool. So the bus is on the way, so we will now get people on board. We'll continue with our checklist in that case. The FMC, actually, we need to do more with that, don't we? There's the route uplink, which is loading. Tom 8 Charlie Delta. We're going to be on VATSIM, like I say, but there's no one to talk to at the moment. There's nobody on any sort of radios around here. We will go on to Unicom, though. Let's go to 122.8. We'll get on Unicom just in case we need to hear anybody. We'll activate our route and execute it. We then need to go to Perf Init. We'll clear these messages. Passengers are getting in. What is our cost index today? Oh dear, didn't mean to do that. Our cost index today is 15 on this flight. Block fuel is 9.6 today. We'll do a Perf Init request. Forgot you could do that. Initial altitude today should be 340. Oh, there we go. I was a little bit impatient with that one. Takeoff flaps, we're going to go flaps 10 for takeoff. Departure is going to be the EPAM 3 Foxtrot departure today from runway 06. Execute that. ILS 2, oh god, I forgot where the buttons are in this. ILS 23 right on the Elvo 1 mic. Transition not via MCT. And there's our V-speeds. Come on. Oh my god. Why is it doing that? Let's get our QNH in, which is 1011. That's down here on this screen. Get it in HPA 1011. I need to follow this. This thing. FMC is done. Transponder set. We're going to go to 2000 at the moment because we don't have a squawk code from anybody else. IAS max speed. I think, is that the... Oh, I can't remember what someone said this was. Stuff it. We're just going to scroll. Because the 737 is literally a scrolling simulator. We'll go 245 because that's what I tended to go for. Before heading takeoff runway, so we need to get the runway heading here. Runway 06.
Passengers bus is coming.
Okay, another bus. 075 is the heading. Initial altitude, we need to look at our departure. The EPAM 3 Foxtrot departure, which is already on my screen. EPAMA, flight level 10000000. So we have that all set up. Yaw damper needs to go on. I think that's up here. No, it's up here. Yaw damper on. Window heat comes on. I can never get them 4 switches to work together, can I? There's always a weird situation with clicking them things. It's horrible. Flight altitude set. We need to go 34,000 feet.
Passengers boarding starting.
Thank you very much. Landing altitude, I just put 100 anyway. Flight directors come on. 1 there. 1 there. It's very, very picky to click stuff in this thing. LNAV and VNAV, please come on. Cool. That means you've got it right. Auto brake to RTO. Comms radios, doors closed. Alright, so that just means that we have to wait for passengers to get on the plane now. I'm just wondering here, actually. I'm just looking at the markings on the ground. We don't push back here, do we? We go forwards. Hence that arrow on the ground. So what are you going to do? Because I don't need you there, please. There's still a few more passengers left to go. So we just have to wait and see. To be fair, with the amount of fuel we've got on today, we're going to put the centre fuel pumps on. There's that noise. Oh, I love that noise. Let's see if we can hear it from the interior. That I've done so many trips abroad on 737s that noise to me is like, oh, I love that sound. That's the centre fuel pump noise, and you should usually hear it when you get on a 737. If you've been on holiday recently, you'll recognise that noise. excellent sound. I don't know why, there's no noise like it. When you get in on the plane and everybody's sort of putting their bags away and everyone's sitting down, you get the seatbelt clicks and everything. That noise is a constant in the background. I love it. We'll put all the fuel pumps on now, stuff it, I don't care. That's going to be one of the next things that we do, actually, to be fair, before start. Auto throttle needs to get armed as well. We'll do that now. And yeah, just waiting now for passengers to be done. There we go. Not sure if you heard that bong, but in the last video I fixed the sounds for GSX to come through on my recordings, so hopefully you actually heard that. As far as I know, we're good to go. Are there any discontinuities anywhere? Yes, there is. So we want Dane there. Just checking the checklist before start then. Auto throttle is armed, left, right and centre fuel pumps, aft fuel pumps, electronic hydraulic pumps. I don't know if that's the right phrase for it. Anti-collision light is going to go on. Then we've got the parking brake which is set, ground equipment removed, engine area clear. So let's remove the stairs. Let's get GSX to go away. Not sure what to do about the tug there. We may just have to push. We may push back onto that taxiway because I don't think there's anyone else going to be using it. But you are supposed to taxi forward, I'm pretty sure. We're at stand 13 for this, by the way. Stand 1-3 here at Ibiza. We're going to be taking off runway 06. She's going to give us a pushback.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Ready for pushback. Thank you, love. Let's just make sure we're transmitting. Yeah. Ibiza traffic, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta pushing back stand 1-3 Ibiza traffic. Just letting everybody know.
Departure checks complete.
So we want to be nose left, tail right. It did say straight pull there. Maybe we could have utilised that. So we need to see what's next on the checklist. Packs. Then we want APU bleed on. Is she ready? Do I need to do anything in particular, like remove parking brakes? Oh, is it the bloody chocks thing again? I forget about this. So menu, FS actions. Yeah, look.
Engine brakes.
Yeah, see.
All engines clear. Start at wheel.
It's a stupid chocks thing. I need to remember to add that to my sort of preset. Okay, so we'll get the APU bleed on. We'll turn the packs off. And then we'll start some engines, shall we? Let's go back up there, actually. We'll go get that to ground. And we'll start engine number 2. Once that's built up. And fuel. Okay, I'm pretty sure that one's all ready to go, so we'll now start the next engine, and we'll have a look at this one from on board as it spools up, because the noises are very, very good from this aircraft. That looked like just a still image then, didn't it? Promise you it wasn't. So we're all pushed back. And as far as I know, we are ready to get crack-a-lacking. Thank you. So we need to figure out where we're taxiing. I need to note that down on here as well. We are pushed back onto what taxiway? Tango. Pushed back onto Tango from stand 1-3. We're going to go to holding point, whatever that one is. We're going to, I think it's Echo 8 for runway 06 via Tango. Let's just check what that was on vPilot, who that was sending a message. That's Barcelona traffic. There she is, letting us know that the bypass pin is sorted, but it's hot in that jacket, love. What's the before taxi checklist looking like then? So we need to put the generators on. Engine generators on. Probe heat on. Oh, come on. Some of these switches, man, they're so picky. Packs go back to auto. APU bleed comes off. Isolation valve to auto. Yeah, auto. APU bleed off. APU comes off. Engine start switches go to continuous. Flaps as required. Elevator trim we need to do at this point. Yes, we need to get the trim in there. 4.83. That's done. Flight controls free and correct. They're not moving on my screen for some reason. Well, the yoke isn't anyway. Yes, the yoke is moving like that. Very good. I just tend to have it pressed down anyway, just so it's not in the way. Taxi lights need to come on. And the runway turn-off lights are as required. I'm going to put them on at this point anyway. Okay, so throttle's responsive, parking brake is on. I think we are ready to get going. Ibiza traffic, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta taxiing runway 06 via Tango in Ibiza traffic. Here we go. On our way to Manchester, my home airport. So we're going all the way down to Echo 8, which is the second one from the end. I'm trying to remember what else we've got to do now, but to be honest, that's the reason that we have the procedure list, isn't it? Right, before takeoff checklist, we'll hold short at Echo 8 and then we'll do everything from there, shall we? Let's just focus on taxiing down there first. We aren't going to have any ATC online to jump on at this point. By the look of it, we're down here. Doesn't seem to have us listed on there, which is weird. There's a guy actually about to land at Ibiza as well. Doesn't seem to think that there's anyone else going on. Yeah, I'm on there, look, departing. So we're going to Dusseldorf. Guy going to Gatwick. Easy 7-1 Victor Bravo. There's another guy actually. He's gone to East Midlands from here. To be fair, Ryanair 18 Echo Juliet, his ETA is 12:51 Zulu. That's in 3 minutes. I think he was pretty much out there to the left of the airfield. Or to my left anyway, to the east of the airfield. We're doing a very slow taxi here at 10 knots. I could do with a little bit more poke than that. Is that Echo 8? It is. Okay, so this is where we're getting on. I didn't mean to stop. I do love the 737, but it does take a push to get it going. I'm excited to see what the 737 MAX is like when it comes to the sim in comparison, because they also have the Leap 1A engines on. Mighty, mighty powerful engines. Okay, we're going to hold short. Ibiza traffic, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta holding short, runway 06 Echo 8, Ibiza traffic. Let's do our checks then. So before we go, fuel flow goes to reset. No, that's lights. Reset. Then rate. That scared me then. Centre fuel pumps as required. De-ice, cabin lights, flight instruments, engine instruments, takeoff data, nav equipment. We get our landing lights on. We then put our strobe light on as well, which is over here. Taxi lights come off. That's the APU. Transponder to TA and RA. Okay, TFC. Push that. And then clock. Okay. Ibiza traffic. Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta lining up runway 06. Ibiza traffic. Let's check flaps are in the right configuration. I don't think that is. So we'll have to confirm that when we get lined up. We'll get lined up and just stop for a sec. Let's just go over here and just check these flaps. Because is that 10? No. Oh no, it is. No, it is on 10. Yep, that's absolutely correct. Okay, cool. Ibiza traffic, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta departing runway at 06 Ibiza traffic. Okay, build up the revs. All seems good. Let's go. Love the sound so much. Love the sunshine here at Ibiza. Like I said before, this is the Inibil's Ibiza. Great looking airport. They've done a really good job of measuring all of the sort of lumps and bumps of the runways and the sort of messiness of the concrete. V1, rotate. Oh, get up. Okay, positive rate of climb. Gear is coming up. Great stuff. We exceeded the flight director a little bit. We'll bring some flaps up. Auto throttle is armed. I've moved the lever back into climb on my controls here. The aircraft is now managing that. Fantastic. Ibiza traffic, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta passing 2,000 feet. Ibiza traffic. Like it a lot. Big fan. There's Ibiza to our left. Really enjoyed that. We need to be climbing a little bit more than this. And then we're going to go through this left turn. Once we've got past this left turn, I'm going to pop the autopilot on. And then we'll enjoy the view for just a sec before we then work on our after takeoff checklist. It's sort of going like this a little bit. We're having to climb and then sort of declimb. It's aiming at 10,000 feet because that's the altitude that we want to get to at the end of the departure. Got a limit of 205 knots at the moment, a restriction I should say. If you're wondering why I'm looking down, I'm aiming at this blue cross, so I'm just moving the aircraft around to try and get that little white square in the middle there. That purple cross, that's the flight director. For those of you that don't know by now, I think I mentioned this in every video, but that's to follow this route. That's where you need to put that square as the nose of the aircraft. That's where you need to have it. So I'm notching away on the stick. What would be a yoke, and you see now we need to turn, so we need to lean the aircraft left, pull up a bit. Okay, the restriction has increased, so the revs will rise. Can't quite bring the flaps up just yet. You know what? We're going to autopilot it. Pop the autopilot on. Let's enjoy the view. Such a great looking aircraft this, isn't it? Okay, it's been a while, so we need to do our after takeoff checklist. Positive rate of climb, gear came up, auto brake needs to come off. Got that on RTO. Engine start switches go back into the off position from up there. Gear lever goes down to the off position now. Keeps that in the middle. Runway turn off lights can come off, and the cabin lights are as required. We then need to just do the landing lights a little bit later on when we get past 10,000. We're pretty much at that now actually. So once we have completed the departure, then we can put in the altitude that we want. We need to set the pressure to standard. We're a little bit above height. Cruise flight level, it seems to have in there 360 today, but we want 340. We're going to put 340 in there. We're going to tell it to go. I think we have the rest of the departure yet. Yeah, flight level 100 or above. Epama. We're going to wait till we get to that and then climb from there. Another great departure. We're already surrounded by just ocean at this point, with Ibiza just off to our left rear there, the airport just at that far end. I enjoyed that. It's nice to fly for a different airline and do some different ops. And of course we're going back to Manchester, you know, my beloved Manchester. Looking forward to landing there again with the challenge of the hump in the middle of the runway, and hopefully we might get someone online to control Manchester by the time we get back up there, but We'll have to see. Actually, yeah, Tower is online at Manchester. Cool. How long's he been on? That's the next question. Not long at all. Nick Sanderson. I think I've been controlled by Nick before, actually, as well. So, yeah, that'll be really good to see. Where's us? There's us. On our way to Manchester. Cracking. Let's settle in. We've got a nice tailwind at the moment as well, actually. 14 knot tailwind it's displaying on there, which is good. We're about to get to Ipama, the next waypoint. So once we hit that, then we should climb. If not, then we'll just click the altitude intervene button. Pretty sure as long as you've got it in the panel up here before you get to that point, then it'll do it afterwards. It knows on there, look, that it's looking for 34,000. After just flying the Airbus very recently, it's interesting to be back in the 737 again. So much more manual stuff, and I don't know, it feels busier in this cockpit, and I quite like that. I love both aircraft for their own unique details and their own sort of quirks, but I really do like the 737 for the fact that it is so busy and there's so much needs to be done to fly the thing. It's great. Flight time today should be about 2 hours and 40 minutes. About 2 hours 45 actually. Air time is about 2 hours and 18, so it's not necessarily a huge flight. It's just about enough. It's just about the limit that I'd go to for one of these, I suppose. The route distance is 943 nautical miles. I tend to say on the chartered flights, much like my last one in this video, thank you very much to Lyle for that, the limit I tend to set is 700 nautical miles, but I may up that with the fact that this is less than 3 hours and it's 900, so we'll see. Aircraft is not climbing at this point, so not quite sure what the situation is there. Is it going to do it now? Is there a bit of a delay to it doing it? No? Let me just do this. There we go. Okay, let's climb. Right then, we are just reaching our cruising altitude now. I have not turned landing lights off, nor have I turned these seatbelt signs off, because I'm a cretin. This has been very straightforward so far. We are over mainland Spain, just about to head to the border to France and Andorra. I've been looking at the information for Manchester. There's been clearly some streamer or something go on from Gran Canaria, or from Manchester to Gran Canaria. Someone's gone to San Diego. There's a bunch of departures still to come out of Manchester now. There's Tower on, and these are all the arrivals as well. We're going to arrive about 5 to 3 Zulu, so that's in about an hour and a half. Jesus, can't do maths. There's a bunch of other flights around us, but nobody really that could be arriving at the same time or causing any issues by arriving closely to us. But what a gorgeous day it is in the sim yet again. There's some contrails or something by the look of it behind us and around us. I'm not sure if there's anyone near us on VATSPy. Yes, Eurowings has just gone across behind us actually, so they'll be sort of over that way somewhere, maybe? Don't know. It's growling its way up to cruise. It's actually just come off the throttle a little bit. It was using like 99% throttle most of the way up. Slight crosswind at the moment of 28 knots, but that's not so bad. It's not really going to affect our ETA or anything along those lines, so yeah, we'll continue to make progress now we're at cruise. This is the sort of long, slow bit in the middle, and then when something spicy happens, I'll update you. I'm not sure if you've noticed it from the last shot, but I've just made a change to my graphics here to use the temporal anti-aliasing instead of the FXAA, and oh my god. I'm not sure how strenuous that is on a graphics card, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Not sure if in the cockpit if we get the same sort of ghosting or anything on numbers and letters, but no. I'm not sure if my graphics card's going mental in the... No, I can't hear the fans on it or anything, but that just looks awesome in comparison to the FXAA. I didn't know if it was the NVIDIA Super Resolution thing, because when you use that, the DLSS thing or whatever it's called, the NVIDIA Super Resolution option that you get on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you get a weird sort of like ghosting of numbers. So when I was changing that number there from a 7543 and all that, the remains of the number that you just changed it from would sort of be ghosted there for a little bit. Like it sort of smooths all movement out between frames. But yeah, I'm not sure if... I mean, it's killing a bit of frame rate when I move around quite quickly, but I mean, that looks amazing. Compared to FXAA, that looks absolutely unreal. I've switched it back to FXAA for the time being. I just did a little test on my on HW Monitor, this amazing program by CPU-ID. It tells you your temperatures and everything of your GPU. I mean, the hotspot's 85 degrees at the minute, which is hot. A GPU running a game as intense as this, or a sim as intense as this at 70 is not bad at all. When I went outside the aircraft like this a moment ago, you can see the sharp edges and stuff now. When I did it a moment ago, I mean, it's 74 degrees now, actually, to be fair. 75 degrees. Hotspot's 91. You know what? Yeah, it's mighty warm. It's getting to nearly 80 degrees. Like, it's just gone to 78. Now it's come straight back down to 75 now. We're back in the cockpit at 73. So when I do outside shots, to be fair, that temporal anti-aliasing can go back on. Because it looks great. And I'm only going to be temporarily doing outside shots anyway, so I'll keep that on. I know you shouldn't really pause when you're in the air or anything on VATSIM, but we're all good. It's fine. I'm not affecting anybody by too much. It's only been a couple of minutes. We're just here at the moment. We still have a long way to go. We're not around anyone anyway. There's no worries. It never ceases to amaze me how much this aircraft has to be flat out to sit in cruise. Just shows you those CFM56s maybe aren't as efficient as, well, not to modern standards, not as efficient as they once were, but that's why the 737 MAX exists, I suppose, and those LEAP engines are incredible. So, yeah, we sit at cruise still. I've been playing about with my graphics card and temperatures and all sorts. To be fair, it needs a good clean. But it's nothing to worry about as long as it's less than like 85 degrees. Oh, I just swore. I don't normally swear in my flight sim videos, do I? But yeah, it's as long as it's less than a certain amount, like 85 degrees, and it's nothing to worry about really. But I do worry because this is my work PC. You know, I don't want to ruin it. But I also don't want the videos to look rubbish. I mean, it looks great now. I've got that temporal anti-aliasing thing on. It looks very nice. We continue on here at cruise. We're going to go to this camera. I'll give you a bit of a time lapse for a bit, and I'll see you in a few. Got a little bit of a zigzag in our flight path here as we go left to Ralix, and then we go right again not long after that as we head to Ibsus. This is a change in the jetways, I think, that we're going to be on for this part of the flight, but everything's still running smoothly at the moment. I'm a happy boy. We're just over mainland France, as you can see here. Halfway up through France, we're going to curve round to the right over the English Channel and then up from the south of the UK. In terms of Manchester arrivals and departures, we've not got anybody else arriving anywhere near us, so we should be all good. In terms of departures, everyone has gone basically at the moment that's on this list. That's not when they're departing. They're just current departures that are going on. There's a few people continuing to file flight plans and stuff, but as you see, there's a good bit in and out of Manchester. I'm not sure if we'll still have Tower on. Not sure if Nick will still be on at that point because he's been on for an hour and a half. We'll have to wait and see for when we get there. But yeah, I'm enjoying this flight so far. It's been very chill, I must admit. I've been walking around doing stuff around the house and all sorts. I have my headset sort of open so I can hear from it because this headset's ridiculously loud. So I always hear if there's anything coming through from V-Pilot or any other bits that I need to pay attention to. Because, you know, you've got to take on the responsibility of manning your aircraft while you're doing something like this. You know, you can't just completely leave it. I know there's probably a few 8 or 9 hour flights I might do where I may not be at my desk for the whole time, but even still, you've got to still take on a bit of the responsibility. Very soon we will start to prepare ourselves for our arrival, although to be honest, we've got a long way up through the UK before we have to do anything. Yeah, we're barely even halfway really distance wise at the moment, so still a long way to go before we end up at Manchester. Heathrow is our alternate. We definitely won't be landing at Heathrow, I can tell you that for free. Not much else to report at this point. We're just going to carry on in the cruise and enjoy it. Not really much else to report at this stage. We're just getting up to the English Channel now. Once we get over the UK, that's when we need to start prepping for our descent. Looking at the procedures, eventually, come on. We need to just monitor everything as it is at the moment, get the ATIS information from the airport, check the altimeter is ready to go down, radios, MCP altitude, that's what I mean by altimeter, get the approach speed ref, the localizer frequency and the ILS localizer course as well. Then we need to make sure we check all the landing altitude, the minimums and then the auto brakes. Then we get past transition altitude, we get back into the local QNH. Below 10,000 feet we're doing 250 knots, landing lights and passenger signs, come on. So we need to get the weather and stuff once we get back over the UK, but this is literally the north coast of France right now that we're just going over, so we don't need to worry about anything yet. We are literally just continuing our cruise. We're not going to start descending for quite a while yet. Let me just check on here where the top of descent will be. Does that say it there? After we've just gone north of London, that's where the top of the descent will be. So yeah, we've still got quite a distance yet before we need to worry about any of that. But once you get used to this sort of stuff and once you get used to doing these flights, they are very, very easy. You know, it's just about the knowledge and sort of how to overcome things if stuff doesn't quite go right. If there's any sort of changes you have to make, it's how you adjust your scenario. I'm sure there's many scenarios I might end up in where I don't know quite how to overcome them or make changes, you know, to I don't know, just procedures in general. So I just hope that everything goes normally. Still got some time left. Let's crack on. Yeah, you know what? I've just been playing about again with temps and all sorts because I didn't want to use that NVIDIA DLSS thing. And you can see, right, here's a prime example of the ghosting that I was on about with the... okay, so it doesn't do it when you zoom in on it as much. But look, if we're far away, look at the numbers. You see how they move like that? I suppose it doesn't really matter that much, does it? And it's a bit blurrier on the screens and so on, but honestly, it's saved me about 8 to 9 degrees Celsius on the graphics card when I'm sat in here. And even when I'm outside before, it was getting to like 80 degrees and the hotspot was getting to nearly 100. You can see, look, 99.3 and it was 80. Look at this. That makes a big difference. And it still looks great. I think I'm going to revert back to that because that still looks amazing. It's a bit blurrier, but I'll get used to that in time. Definitely get used to that in time. Anyway, we're starting to turn now over the UK. We're going to head towards Avant as the next waypoint. That's the only other thing. I can't really see anything on there. I wonder if there's an option. Because this thing... Oh, I suppose we've got it on performance. So let's see if we put it on balanced. See if it's a bit sharper. That's better. Still 65 degrees. And if we go outside... Easy. This saved us nearly 10 degrees. I don't mind a bit of ghosting on numbers to put up with that. It's one of those things, you'll constantly tweak your graphics and you'll constantly tweak temperatures and all sorts with a PC. I worry about mine because it's a few years old now and I've not got the money to completely replace it at the moment, so yeah, I just need to be careful with it at this stage, and I don't want to overwork it at the end of the day because it's my work PC. I've not got a direct replacement for it. So anyway, I'm going to stop going on about it now because I think I've gone on about it for most of the flight. I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and we'll be back down in the UK very, very soon. Right, I think we're at a point now where we've played around with graphics and stuff for too long that we need to actually start doing stuff. So, going through the cruise and descent preparation, we need to check the airport information. God, look at the frame rate. Why is it toss? We need to look at this. So 1006 is the QNH. I'm going to write that down on my little thing on here. We need to have the altimeter set to that. We need the radio set. Good God, the frame rate's awful all of a sudden. So what we're looking at then is to set the radio frequencies in a little bit. We don't need to worry about doing that just yet. MCP altitude, we need to check our arrival into Manchester, the Elvo 1 Mike arrival. What are we intercepting the ILS at? 3,500 I think it is at Manchester. Yeah, 3.5. So we need to pop it as 3.5 once we get to the necessary point. See what I mean about the ghosting on there? It's fine though. I can deal with that. Especially, I mean, if you zoom in all the way on it, you don't get the ghosting. 3,500 feet. Right, we need to check the approach speed ref in the FMC. That's in here, so that is in our descent. Oh yeah, well, let's get the request. Let's request the descent winds, shall we? I should clarify that for the sake of definitely admitting to editing there, it doesn't happen that quickly. There we go. We've got the request winds in. Here we go. So we want flaps 40, 141 knots. That's in there now. Localizer frequency and course. So we need to get the ILS chart open. Localizer 109.5 and 232. So the course goes in here. Just realised that I've gone the long way about this. 232. And then we need to tune it. What is it? 109.5 did I say it was? 109.5. Look at that. 1095. Boom. So then we need to do that on the other side as well, because you have to have them matching. You don't have to, but it's better to. Oh. And then get the course on here as well. I've just done it again. I've gone 232 and I've gone the long way around rather than going... Yeah, anyway. You can hear the engines spooling about here because it knows that something's happening. We're getting to the top of descent very shortly. 3,500 feet. We're going to go all the way down to. You get the great bassy note of these CFM 56s as well. Yeah, we just need to check our landing altitude, which we set earlier on today. Auto brake and then altimeter. So the next thing we need to do now is change back to change the barometric pressures when we get further down. That needs to be 1006. Actually, we can do that now, you know, because you can change that on the fly. It comes down here, so it's in standard at the moment, but you can change it while you're flying. I cannot read that. That's a downside to this. I've actually just set it to 1006. That's cool. That is the downside to the NVIDIA super resolution thingy. You can't really read it from distance. You have to properly zoom in on stuff. It's nowhere near as sharp. There's the engine note dropping. Let's listen to them beefy CFM 56s, shall we? Well, that is an outstanding noise, is it not? We're now over the UK, heading northwest, beginning our descent down towards Manchester, 31,500 feet now. Looking on VATSIM, we've got Tower on at Birmingham, interestingly enough. We're just here. There was actually a centre on over here earlier on, but they've now gone. Got ground at Manchester now. Matthew Stothard's been on for a couple of minutes, but unfortunately Nick that was on earlier, was it Nick? I think he's gone off now, unfortunately. Got a lot of arrivals into Manchester now. We're 15:04, and James from Belfast is coming in at 15:08. So there's only a few minutes between our arrivals, so we might have to get a bit of a shift on when we get in there. We've got our localizer course and everything in. That's all good to go. Got an aircraft out to our left-hand side. Also heading out over the UK. Let's see who that is. That is Ryanair 4322. Who's made an interesting turn into Heathrow. That's a shame. Ryanair don't fly into Heathrow, but you get it on VATSIM. You get people that fly routes that the airlines don't actually fly, each to their own. What does it matter? What tiny detail that is, you know, it doesn't matter. As long as people are enjoying the flight sim, that's what matters, isn't it? One thing we will do while we're on this glorious descent down is look at the radio frequencies that we need. So Manchester. Ooh. Tower. Yes. Manchester Tower is online, so that is 118.630. No, that's the wrong thing, Chaz. You cretin. 118.630. 118.630. Jesus, this is taking forever. There we go. 118.630 ready. We're on Unicom at the moment, 122.8. That's absolutely fine. We should get a contact me from them at some point in the near future. When we get within a certain range. We've got an aircraft going just over the front of us there. Don't know what else I'm supposed to be doing, really. I feel like I've not done a lot. That's the thing. You prepare yourself in the 737 and then it doesn't seem like you have to do a lot. We're not below 10,000 feet. We don't need to change the altimeter to 1006 yet. Don't need to do landing lights or any of that. Let's just look outside. Quite a lot of cloud around here at the moment, which makes a difference to how it was in Ibiza. So we are going to come in under a little bit of cloud. It's quite muggy here in the UK at the moment. You might have noticed out my window it's been very bright today, but the sun gradually at this house makes its way around to the front of the house rather than around the back. So when I was recording earlier this morning, it was just pure daylight coming through here. We're really not far out now because we're getting to Dane. We're 10 miles from Dane, so we should be contacting them at some point soon, surely. Should we contact them now? 118630? Let's do it. Manchester Tower, good afternoon. This is Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta passing through 10,000 feet towards Dane for 23 right.
Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta, hello Manchester Tower, you're outside of my area of responsibility. If you can call back when established on the localizer, and in the meantime monitor Unicom 122.8, thank you.
Monitor Unicom 122.8, will do, thanks very much. Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta. Roger that. Just thought we'd check. I think we're doing the right thing. So when we're established on a localizer, that's when we check with them. Is there a restriction 8080 on Dane? So why is the aircraft not slowing us down? Why is it not the? I'm going through quite a bit of cloud now, so visibility is dropping. Okay, let's check what we need to do before our approach. It says drag required. We'll give you some of that drag then. We'll give you some air brakes. See what you think of that. Drop down. Okay, we're below 10,000 feet now, so we can put landing lights on. And also put the passenger seatbelt signs on. Altimeter reset to local anytime soon. No, it's not asking us to. We're starting our right turn now. Speed brakes are out, so we're dropping speed. Now with the 7.3 you have to sort of notch the flaps down to encourage it to slow down. Does say drag required, I do know that now. Not far to go. Manchester will just be over there somewhere. No, actually it's much more further that way. There it is. There is Manchester. It is telling the aircraft to slow down though. The speed is down to 192 now. There we go. So it gets to the speed and then it descends. Right, that's kind of what this plane does really. So we want to be arming the approach in a little bit. Let's see. We'll take it off standard. We'll go to 1006 HPA. Localizer frequency and course is all good. Let's arm the approach just before we turn onto this. Get the aircraft to slow down again soon. We can probably put more flaps in, although we're on flaps 5. Let's go another notch down. Once the glide slope is alive, that's when we put the gear down, and then we arm the speed brakes. Speed brakes are up. It's quite sunny still on the way into Manchester. Okay, established on the localizer. Let's bring some more flaps in. Let's bring that gear down, shall we? Ready? We are high. We are very, very high. It's cut that corner quite severely. So hopefully with this drop in speed, it'll, yeah, dive us down like that. I'm not touching this at the minute. We're supposed to intercept the ILS at 3,500 feet. We're still at 4.5 now. This may take some encouragement. Let's get on to Manchester Tower frequency. Oh my god.
Runway 23 left, clear for takeoff.
Scared the out of me. There's a beep. I think we're going to catch it. Manchester Tower, Tom Jet, 9 at Charlie Delta, 8 Charlie Delta, apologies. Established 23 right.
Tom Jet 8 Charlie Delta, hello, Manchester Tower, surface winds 230 degrees or 11 knots, runway 23 right, clear to land.
Clear to land 23 right, Tom Jet 8 Charlie Delta, thanks very much.
Tower, green zone 1 for November, ILS 0.
Green zone 1 for November, hello, Manchester Tower, runway 23 right, land after the Boeing 737-800, surface winds 230 degrees, 11 knots.
Trying to get it to catch up with the glide slope here.
Okay, land after the 73, green zone 1 for November.
We are high. Very high.
Vivo 1370, no further AC services, Monty Unicorn 122.8, bye-bye. Thank you very much, over to 122.8, bye-bye.
Let's go full flaps. Bring it right down. I'm going to take control of the aircraft here and just dive it down a little bit harder. Yes, I know. I know. I know, love. We're going to have to go chasing it, I'm afraid, everybody. Not brilliant. We overshot the approach. I don't know how people do it, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure how we overshot it by so much. We're catching up to it now. You can see this purple triangle is starting to come to us. There we go. We've caught it. Yeah, the aircraft is powering up because... 1,000. Yeah. Take the auto throttle off. It's harder to read the speeds actually because of that ghosting effect, because of the super resolution. That's kind of frustrating. Maybe a bit of GPU temperature is not so bad after all. But here we are though, back at Manchester, everybody. 23 right. After a long flight from Ibiza today. God, you've got to balance this so much.
500.
With how much throttle you need.
400.
We're holding that ref speed quite nicely. We need to
Wind
go
check.
over a little bit. Right.
Surface winds 230 degrees, 11 knots.
Direct headwind.
200.
Did we set up? We didn't set our minimums.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Not bad at all, that. There was a bit of a frame stutter. There's quite a lot of reverse, and we're not going to make it on that one. Come on. Wow. It's... I don't know what it is with the auto brakes on this thing, but it just doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, we didn't have auto brakes on, did we? Maybe that's why. Let's get the speed brakes up. Let's get the flaps up. And we'll hold short here, and he's going to tell us to contact...
Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta, contact Manchester ground now, 121.855, bye-bye.
121.855, thanks very much, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta. Okay, let's park it for a sec. 121.855 for Manchester. I'm really not happy with that landing or approach. I didn't do a great job. Manchester ground, this is Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta with you, just vacated runway 23 right.
Blocked Skyway 76, standby, break, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta, Manchester ground, fellow taxi stand 209 via Alpha Delta Echo November Charlie.
Was that stand 209, sorry, Alpha Delta Echo November Charlie?
Correct.
Thanks very much, Tomjet 8 Charlie Delta.
Skyway 726, apologies, Curtis Stockholm, Valley Pole Hill 1 Yankee departure, school 2264.
Jesus.
Clear to
209 is there.
Pole 1 Yankee
Alpha
departure.
Delta Echo November Charlie.
Can you
Not my finest work today, that, I'm afraid.
Skyway 76, correct.
Not my finest work. Sorry, everyone. Transponder off, flaps retract, speed brakes
Ground
down,
noon, green zone, 1-4 November.
landing lights off,
Greenstone
strobe lights
4
off.
November Gabby ground, fellow taxi stand 17 via Bravo and Juliet Foxtrot.
Start the APU. That's next up. Probe heat comes off. That's way up there. We need to get to that. Engine start switches go to off. They should have been on continuous on the way in as well. Auto brake goes to the off position. It already was. Runway turn-offs off. Not my finest work, everybody. That is frustrating, that one. I can do better than that. So, yeah, we're going Alpha, Delta, Echo, November Charlie. Is that Greenstone over there? Was that an ATR? It was. There's a Fly UK Aero 737.
Manchester ground, hello, privilege 29 Echo Mike, 777-200, stand 202 left. With information, whiskey, ready to copy clearance to Stuttgart.
Privilege. Who's Privilege?
Privilege 29 Echo Mike, Manchester ground, fellow. You've filed invalid route to your aircraft type, but you're cleared to Stuttgart by the Samba 1 Yankee departure, reroute Samba, November 859, Hotel Oscar November, that I filed, squawk 623.
It's filed as invalid. I think he's gone for the wrong departure or something.
Privilege 29 Echo Mike, would you mind putting that in the box, please?
Assume you mean the text draft, but yep, I will.
Yeah, putting something in the box is usually your squawk code. And there is the wonderful tower at Manchester. I've been up there. It's amazing up there. Absolutely amazing. Incredible view, incredible place. That is the 777 there. I believe their tail. Or is it? Oh no, it might be that one. That might be them. So then we carry on down here. We go left onto Echo, then right onto November Charlie.
Light level. 121 Alpha, correct.
So now we're going to go right onto November Charlie. There's an EasyJet A320 over there. They don't tend to operate from Terminal 2 here at Manchester. There's also a Speedbird A320 as well. They don't either. They operate from Terminal 1 off to our right hand side. There is a 777 actually, so I think that might have been the person that we were listening to before, which is Privilege. I think it's Privilege Style. I think that's a Spanish carrier. It's like a sort of Spanish VIP carrier. Now we're stand 209er, so we need to go left once we get in here. I thought it was still steering then, but clearly not. And that is a big old 777-200. Massive tank of a plane. Seems to have... No, I was going to say it seems to have taken on the body of a 300, but it seems 200-ish. Shorter and chunkier. That's Speedbird A320 Neo. And I think the other one down there is a CFM-powered A320 that is... It's got the modified winglets on it, but it's not got Neo LEAP engines on it. It's got winglets, I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I try and talk when I'm trying to focus, because I just can't, clearly. So there's 208, 208 left, and then the next stand is going to be us, which is 209. Should be this one. Absolutely. Should probably get GSX ready there. Look at that, right on time. Oh, I've overshot a little bit, but that's okay. Parking brake on. Engine fuel control levers. Let's just check the APU is started. Yes, the APU is started. And amongst all the terrible frame rate, we'll turn the engines off. I've done a stupid thing. I've been flying too much Airbus. APU bleed comes on, anti-collision light comes off, and the fuel pumps come off except for that front left one because that's what's powering the APU. Anti-ice comes off, the window heat and everything comes off as well. And the packs, sorry, these hydronic pump, isolation valve goes to open. That was not my finest hour. The later stage of that flight was awful. Frame rate, awful. You deserve better than that, everyone. I'm so sorry. Operate the jetway and request deboarding. I'll give you a pretty shot of it because you deserve it.
And Manchester Ground Privilege 29 Echo Mike 777, stand 202 left, full pushback and start.
Information X-ray QNH 1006, request IFR clearance to Manchester.
Passengers
That
departing
pilot.
side.
172 Manchester Ground. Just confirm that's an A320 Neo.
That sounds younger than my
172,
son.
EZ172,
And his knowledge is incredible.
I need you on a old flight level.
What are you doing there?
EZ172, can we take flight level 190 please?
Wow.
EZ172,
So,
final flight level.
I'll fade
Flight
out
level
V-Pilot.
190.
That was Ibiza to Manchester, everybody. I enjoyed it, but I'm really not happy with myself for how the end of that flight went, because that was just shoddy for me. It was messy. I missed a lot from here, even though I've got a procedures list right in front of me. Messed up the approach. I still can't get the approach right into Manchester. I don't know why, but it always cuts the corner. I'm not sure if you're supposed to sort of vector yourself in or what, or turn earlier than Dane, but it always seems to cut the corner at CF23 right, and then it just puts you in too high, so it's a bit of a nightmare. But I hope you've enjoyed it either way. It's been great to do some TUI ops at long last. I will be doing a lot more of these. Might even fly back to Ibiza at some point. Don't know yet. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching. Really hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next episode.